money that we did not spend this year, that we did not budget for either. So miscellaneous income, we want to start with that, $4,096. Part of that was a payment from Warner Enterprises for damaging the community center parking lot. It was like, I thought I had that sheet with me, it was like he paid her $3,900. And then there was a $131 charge to Valerie, sorry, forgot her last name, that ran over the stop sign. And they paid for the stop sign repair. Contributions on road repairs from Mike and Rhonda Haywood, we don't ever budget for that, so that's $180. General contributions, Vanessa Cole donated our constant contact email service for the gate. She donated the first year $120. We didn't spend, we budgeted $200 for the ordinance violation mail expense. We had $191.03 left. Ordinance violation delivery, but we budgeted $200, didn't spend any. Security camera maintenance, we budgeted $300, did not spend any. Paris Communication System, our yearly contract, we budgeted $200. That contract is no longer in existence. Randall County has come up with another way of notifying people. We put that on our website, so we don't have to pay that anymore. Security gate, the electric bill for the security gate, we budgeted $500. Excel pole for the security gate, we budgeted $300. They did not put in a new meter, so we didn't spend any of that money. Flower bed maintenance, we always budget $200, and Dennis and Darla Paquette always donate their time and plans to that, so we didn't spend that. Legal notice advertising, we budgeted $200 and we spent $130, so we have $70 left. Legal fees, we budgeted $4,000, we have $2,560 left. Postage, I didn't spend any on postage this year because I bought a roll last year. Internet maintenance, we always budget $300, and Lee Carter donated his time for our internet maintenance this year, so we didn't spend any. Community center repairs, we budgeted $1,500. We had money left over from our COVID grant, and so it covered we had him fix the front porch, the fascia, he did painting, switched out toilets for us. All that was covered in our COVID grant, so we didn't spend that $1,500, and we didn't spend any discretionary funds. That's what we budgeted, $1,777.68. So at the end of this fiscal year, in September, we will have $12,595.19 that we budgeted for that we did not spend. So keep that in mind when we go through the budget. Okay, we'll go down this line item by line item. Utility allocation, we always budget what we received the year before. So we collected $15,434.70 from Excel and Atlas. That's what we're budgeting for next year. And all the payments are in for this year. That's what I'm recommending that we budget for next year. Property tax collections. Last year we budgeted $18,351.08. We collected $17,413.15. There's still the month of August and September that we can get payments in, so I don't have any idea how much those will be, so I can't show what the collection is. And then there's, we have to take into consideration people that don't pay their property taxes, and so that comes out of what we budget for. Based on what our proposed tax rate is going to be for next year, it is going down, and so property values went up, so taxes go down. So we're proposing, based on Randall County's formula, that we budget $2,015.31 for property taxes. Permit income, we budgeted $1,000, we only collected $540, and so I'm proposing $500 for next year. Other income, fire department share of insurance, $13.24 was what we collected this year. I'm proposing $1,500 for next year. We don't budget anything for, the rest of this, the miscellaneous income. That was the figure that was at the top of the page that we got from Warner. We don't budget Randall County Child Safety Seed or the Texas Trust opioid abatement or security gate pods or the checking account interest. Security gate pods go directly into they go to our checking account, and then once we have enough, I move it over to our savings account. So we don't want to budget for that because it's not income that we can depend on. There was a lot that we collected this year because it's a new gate and everybody was getting pods. Checking account interest, I don't ever budget that. So other income, I'm proposing $1,500 for the year. Security gate, again, we collected through the security gate pods for the entire year, $3,240. We're not going to budget for that. Contributions for road repair, that's what we get from Mike and Rhonda Haywood, and I don't budget for that. In miscellaneous donations, I don't budget for that. So rental income for the community center, we collected $1,100 this year. We're not budgeting any. And then general donations, $140. So all of that taken into consideration, our total income proposed for next year would be $37,450.01. So if you flip over to our expenses for next year, we didn't have any court expenses or mail expenses this year. Or we had one court charge from the Texas Comptroller. I'm not budgeting any of that. So for the village court expense, nothing for next year. Ordinance enforcement expenses, we budgeted $200 for the permit mail expense. We spent $8.97. I'm proposing $200 again for next year. Ordinance violation delivery, we budgeted $200. We didn't have any expense this year. I'm proposing $200 again, so $400 for that category. Police department expense, we never budget for the police because we don't have police force. Security cameras, this shows what we collected, $5,869, or we spent, $5,869.68. We shouldn't have to spend any next year. Security camera maintenance, we budgeted $300 the year before. Everything's under warranty for our cameras, so we're not budgeting anything. The gate equipment, this was all the stuff that Dennis Piquet and Kelly and I don't know who else. There's a whole list of people. $1,589.51. That was for all the electrical stuff for the gate. We're not expecting any expense like that for next year. The security gate cost us $11,188.76. We're not proposing anything for next year. The internet for the gate, we didn't budget anything because we didn't have the camera at that security gate then. We spent $107. And we used to get our internet for the community center free, but since we had to bump up the speed of it for the cameras, we have to pay $25 a month for internet. So I'm proposing $200 for next year. This is all expenses for PRPC, our Pancom maintenance, 422. It stays pretty much the same. Paris, again, we budgeted $200. We're not going to spend anything because that's non-existent. Paying original planning commission dues are $85 a year, and that'll stay consistent. Road and traffic department, the light for the flower bed, we budgeted $300. We spent $295, so I'm proposing that we go with $350. And a lot of this, I'm bumping it up a little bit because everything is going to go up, and there's not a formula for how much everything's going to go up. Excel for the security gate, since they didn't do a separate meter, we don't have any charge for that, and the pole for the camera either, so $350. Last year we budgeted $14,500 for the roads. We haven't spent anything yet, so we'll come up with a number when we finish going over all of available for the roads. Village Palisades insurance, we budget $50 in case there's something that happens to the pole or the light or something in the flower bed. And we didn't spend any this year, so I'm proposing 50 again for next year. Flower bed, 200, we didn't spend any because of the cat's donation, so I'm proposing that we keep it at 200. Because we don't ever know how long they're gonna continue to do that, and I would hate to not budget anything and then not have any money to spend for it. Tax collection expenses, Randall County charges us $550 a year to collect our taxes, and I'm proposing we go up to $600. Crad services is always right around 200, and this year it was 201, so I'm saying bump it up to 210. Legal notice advertising, last year we budgeted $150. We spent $80 because the year before we advertised in Amarillo Globe News, which is very expensive. We have a newspaper in our county, that we can utilize that, and so Canyon's newspaper was only $80 to advertise, so I'm proposing $100 for next year. Election expense, we didn't have any for last year because it was an odd year, or even year. Since this is an odd year, we're budgeting $2,500. Government agency fees, Panhandle Regional Planning Commission, there's 85. Keep it up. Panhandle Water Planning Group, their dues are $80. TML membership dues, $650. I'm proposing we go up to $670. PRPC contract services, we didn't use any contract services for last year, so I'm keeping it the same. Professional services on legal fees. We budgeted $4,000, we spent $1,440. I'm proposing that we keep it at $4,000. Trash removal service, our roll-offs, we budgeted $3,500, we spent $1,899.75. I'm proposing that we keep it at $3,500 for next year. We budgeted $200 for food, for after cleanup, we spent $99.40. I'm proposing that we do $120. Operating expenses, postage and mailing, $100. I propose we keep it at $100. Office supplies, we budgeted $200, we spent $88.70. We'll keep it at $200. Flags, we budgeted $100, we spent $93.86. Keep it at $100. Internet services, $300. Proposing that we keep it at $300. He, the guy that does our internet, does work for Dave and I too, and he charges us sometimes and sometimes he doesn't. So we just give him a gift card to like Panhandle Greenhouse for all he does, and he's very appreciative of that, and he never charges us, and I can't see that he would start charging us now, but I never know, so I'm gonna keep it at $300. Constant Contact is our internet email service when we send out the code for the gate. We didn't budget anything because we didn't have the gate at the beginning of last year. We spent $150, $180, and so I'm proposing that we do $175 for next year. Insurance, TML for last year was $5,000. We budgeted $5,400. If y'all remember, we got a bill and it went up 21% across the board. I've searched high and low to try to find another insurance carrier that will do municipalities, and nobody does it. And so we spent $6,870, so I'm proposing $7,000 for next year. Excel for the community center is our electric bill. We budgeted $1,100. We spent $900. Proposing, and we still don't have August and September's filled in. So I'm proposing that we do $1,100 again. Repairs and projects, we budgeted $1,500. We didn't spend any because the COVID grant covered it. So I'm proposing that we do $1,500 for next year. Our discretionary account, we budgeted $1,777.68. And so that's an open this year for how much we have available. So if you look at our total expenses, 2019 $23,137. Our total expenses have to match what our income is. And so if you take our income, our proposed income, 30, I put on here 35, it should be 37. Yeah, 37,450. We have about $12,000 left over. So that $12,000 can go toward the roads, or it can go toward the roads and a little bit of it to the discretionary account. That's up to y'all, but our expenses have to equal what our income is. So if we do any adjusting, we have to make sure it matches.
Very good.
So that's up to y'all as to what you want to do.
This on page 2. On page 2, the fourth thing down is Texas Comptroller, that was $51.
That's a franchise fee thing.
Will that be a recurring? That won't happen
No,
again?
that's why I put zero for next year.
And on the same page, on page 2 down, under security cameras, we had $300 and we're not proposing any for security camera maintenance. We're certain that our warranty work on we're talking these security cameras.
The cameras, right.
We
Is
don't
under
foresee-
warranty.
We don't foresee any expense there at all, ever. No, there's nothing that's not covered that can happen to those cameras. Those, I don't know if those cameras will work. Jack knows
Yeah.
all the particulars of that, but,
I can put
it
some in
seems,
there.
but I'm just bringing it up, If we're comfortable that, the warranty is gonna cover everything for another year, that's a pretty big deal, those cameras up there for the security of the community, and if something happens to the gate.
That's where your discretionary fund comes in,
Okay,
or we can budget for it and take it out of something else.
What about our insurance? Just say somebody runs into a camera with insurance.
Our TML, our gate is covered under our TML insurance.
And the warranty on the gate's good for 3 years.
3 years?
Well, we just, to January will be 1 year and 2 more after that. And I talked to him a couple of days ago and asked him about a warranty, maintenance warranty, and he goes, no one's ever asked me before. So,
on page 1, this, under other income, this very first page, this $1,324 for the fire department's insurance. How much did our insurance go up this year?
I thought we were gonna drop the fire department and they were gonna find their own. I
Yeah.
thought that's what we
That's
decided.
what we need to
Oh,
decide.
okay.
Yeah,
Because we paid it for the whole year, they won't
Yeah.
cover it. They paid it for the whole
Yes.
year.
Yeah, I don't think we budget that $1,500 because they were gonna find their own means, whether it
Okay.
was staying with TML or not, they were gonna find their own means. And that they are financially viable at this point, their insurance is viable as we are, insurance is just going nuts for all of us.
Okay, I can adjust that off, and if we do that, then on page, page 4, our $7,000 for our TML insurance, that will go down by about $3,000. Because the fire department pays $1,500 and we pay $1,500, so that whole $3,000 will come out of that $7,000. Our insurance from TML will not be that.
Really give Darren a heads up so he has plenty of time
Yeah.
to know what's going on there, so we don't want that to sneak up on him at all. So, yeah, we been talking about that last budget, so.
And we're just proposing all of this tonight. We can't vote
Sure.
on any of
Sure.
this tonight. We vote on this in September. Because we have to put a notice in the newspaper to give everybody an opportunity to come to the board meeting in September to voice their concerns to you.
Okay, on, security gate pods, you have it down twice. One's under other income and then one's under security gate.
On what page are you on?
On page 1. Income wise. You just have security gate pods, 1,280, and then under security gate, you have,
That's what we collected this year, yeah.
so 2 separate amounts?
Yes.
Or,
It should just be one, we'll
Okay.
put it all under debt
Okay.
funds, yeah. But we didn't budget anything, so
Yeah,
that's not gonna.
no, I know, I
that
just-
Yeah, thank you.
your, and then also, the security gate internet, page 2. You said it was $25 a month,
Yes,
so for 12 months, that'd be $300?
yeah, thank you. We needed this for 6 or 7 hours.
No, I know, I know, thank you for mentioning it.
So what do y'all, okay, so if we take out, the fire department share and our internet, our TNL insurance goes down by $3,000, I'll recalculate all this to you. What percentage do you want to go on the gate, on the roads, and what percentage do you want on discretionary?
I want a good chunk on the roads. That's a big complaint down here that I hear from a lot of our community. I would like a huge chunk to go to that, because we had, like I said, I know this was a different year with what we had left over in discretionary. We had 12,000. Take 9,000, 10,000 of that.
Well, we've had 1,700 in our discretionary this year, and we've been spending it. Do you want me to put 500 in discretionary and the rest on the roads?
Oh, 500 is a little thin, that would.
Yeah, I
So
say
we
keep
need 17.
1,000 or.
Keep in mind that we have $12,000 left from this year that we didn't spend,
Yeah.
that we're gonna talk about in a minute on the roads.
Yeah.
And so, I take into consideration, a lot of this stuff is set every single year and it doesn't vary. We can't control what Atmos and Excel does, we can't control Randall County tax collections. So we have a little bit of a buffer built in a lot of this stuff, and we always have money left at the end of the year that we can always reallocate for the roads. But we're talking, the bottom line on this is 12,800 is what we will have. We'll have a little bit more because of TML and the fire department.
Are we talking about taking just this or for the next budget?
What I'm talking about right now is what do you want to put on the roads for next year?
I have a question on the road. So I talked to TNL and I talked to municipality lawyer out of Dallas, and they said since our gate's up, that the roads are now private.
Our roads were always private, because we pay the maintenance on our road, they're our roads. Randall
But
County does nothing.
but we use public funds.
Randall County does, no, those funds are to the village, for the village to use in the communities.
Okay, so Timber Creek doesn't use their
They have
tax
a
funds
PLA.
on their rate.
They have a property owners association that takes care of all their roads.
Yes.
I'm missing your question there, what's your point there, I'm missing it.
They said we can't use public funds on private roads because it is taxpayer money. I don't know, they just,
So,
Who said that?
the TNL, a lawyer from TNL, and also a municipality lawyer out of Dallas. That once we put up the gate, that it's considered private roads and you're not allowed to spend public funds on private roads.
They've always been,
Yeah, we've talked to attorneys, not our attorneys.
because
others.
if we were public roads,
Randall
Randall
County.
County would be the ones maintaining roads and they won't.
But we're a government entity,
How would we pay for the roads for the last 30
because the
years?
gate wasn't up, so it was.
The gate was,
Not when we paid for the roads, and not when we started getting government funds, that's why they took down the gate.
No, that's not sure on that. That wasn't that.
Okay.
I don't see how we consider. The county doesn't pay to maintain, the county doesn't send their workers down here to maintain it. I'm
I know.
saying, like, that's where I'm like, there's a fine line,
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's, you can look at it as private, you can look at it as always
Our roads
private.
were always private.
Because,
Even before, whenever we were discussing, in years past, we spoke with the lawyer, it's Ralph Schrader Smith, were land lawyers, they're oil lawyers, but our daughter worked there, and they gave us some free information since she works there. And there was a discussion over whether we owned our roads or not. He said the simple question of whether you own the roads or not is who pays to maintain the road? Do you spend the village's money to maintain the roads, or does Randall County maintain the roads? I said, no, we spend the village's money.
So
to
have we asked our
maintain the roads."
attorney? or
And
no?
he says, he told us, he said, well, you pay for the roads, they're your roads,
Yeah.
they're your private roads.
So has our attorney said anything or no?
We haven't asked.
Never asked.
It hasn't been a
Does
question
any of
for
that
some
fall
reason.
into the situation that me and Dale worked on for years, the 2 or 3 years, about the club giving the village the roads? Does that have anything to do with
I
the,
don't know.
because then they did turn into village property, so instead of club.
I mean, then it goes back to the question, if we did it that way, where's the money gonna come to do any road maintenance?
You have to have
We're out.
Tangled or something, or Timber Creek, or the 18
Where did
years.
they take the other gate down? I've been down here 10
It was
years.
when I was in the
It was-
working for that.
it was-
Okay, so we've been paying for our own roads for the last
Yes.
15 to 20 years.
More than that.
45.
45 years.
because we're not, so another thing that I look into on this, because I had some brush my first, we're not taking people's tax money from the county itself and paying for those. We're taking our tax money and paying for our own roads, and we do our own maintenance on the roads. It'd be different if we were using my mom's tax money from.
Would it be okay if I contacted our attorney just to clarify?
I'll call
I see your point, I'm just saying, since we're not using any funds other than our own funds,
Ballpark, Carolyn, from Excel and gas.
I'd like to be on the
company,
call, Jerry, if you don't mind.
him. Well, she won't take your call.
From Excel and gas, how much do we get from Excel and?
Why would you take my
the
call?
electric company?
Pardon?
Why would you take my call?
Because she instructed me that she would not take anybody else's call. That's the way it works.
I've talked to her in the past.
I know you have, because I gave you permission to. And she gave me permission to let you.
Well, actually, no.
So, actually, yes.
No.
The money we get from Excel and the money, when we get from the electric company and the gas company, those two.
$15,434 last year.
And is that money regulated for something? Why couldn't you take that money and just do a, for lack of a better term, a shell game as to where the money we spent on the roads, let's say it's the money that came from Excel.
And the property tax collections.
Let's say it's the money that came from the road donations from those people. I'm not really sure how, the money's there, that's not tax money is what I'm saying. I guess the amount of money that we spend on the roads, can we not spend the tax money on cleanup? Can we not spend the tax money on security camera maintenance? Can we?
You're asking the wrong person, I'm looking at you.
I guess my point is I'm not real certain what the difference in roads and the rest of the money that we spend for the community. It's all money we're spending for the community in some form. I'm not sure why roads is singled out as something we can't spend tax dollars on, I guess.
And why is it
I know you
an
don't have an
issue
answer,
now?
I'm just
Because we
speaking,
have
I'm
an
just speaking. Yeah,
Why is it an issue now? Because we had a gate, when the last 20 years when we didn't have a gate, it wasn't an issue. Good question.
Colin said we put some more money there, Colin said we should say some.
Okay, how much do you want to put on the roads? Do you want to put everything on the roads except for $1,000 in discretionary?
What did we have in discussion of last year?
$1,777.68.
I think 1,000 in discretionary, in my opinion, is plenty for, hot dogs for cleanup and stuff like that.
we already budgeted for that.
Oh, I know, I
Yeah.
mean, it's plenty for incidentals,
Okay, I'll put 1,000 in discretionary, I'll take 1,500 off for the income for the fire department, sheriff, TML, and I'll take away 3,000 from the TML insurance and we'll put everything else on the roads. Is that okay with y'all? Okay, I'll recalculate all of that for the meeting in September.
Is it about the roads, is everybody okay with where it's at? Do we need a motion or anything? Or this is-
No, because we're not, this is just
not-
kind of a little discussion. We're not taking any action on the budget.
Gary, turn it over to you.
Okay. As in the past, getting anybody to commit, come out, give a crap. It's like pulling teeth. After many phone calls with little results, and 4 people actually showed up. Of course, Lone Star always willing to come down. Guy came down and the job was too much for him. He mainly did repair and striping. But he recommended Eric Rodriguez. He came down, was very interesting, talked with him a lot. And then he never sent me a bid. So I was speaking with the guy that recommended him a week and a half ago or so. And he said he didn't understand why, because he recommended him. So he said he would call him after he hung up the meeting and see why. I haven't heard back anything from anybody. Austin Breyer, who did send the bid, and was, I don't know, he just didn't, good kid, but he just kind of didn't seem trustworthy, I guess I could say. He sent the bid, 15,000, and when I talked to him again, I asked him for references and how his base was going. And I never heard from him. So I got basically 2 bids, 3. One from Lone Star with a 2-inch base per se, and the other with a 6-inch. Exactly, 8 inches, so like I said, I'm assuming it's just a 2-inch depth of asphalt on the 24 fire, 6-inch on the 36.
And what we have left in our budget for,
So this year, 14,500 that we budgeted for that we haven't spent yet, plus the 12,595.19 that we had left over from all the projects that we came up with the first, gives us $27,095.19 to spend on the roads.
And we wanted to look into that coal pack to fix some of these potholes.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna need a pallet of that again, regardless, there's.
What is it now? Is it $19 a bag?
It's about $20 a bag, that's,
How much is in a pallet?
we didn't get a whole pallet last year, I think last year we got 20 bags, 20, maybe 24 bags, how many bags did we bust over? I think 24, I think we got 2 dozen bags last year, 24. And it did everything we needed last year, we had a couple of bags left over that I used in the early spring on the north side to do a few, but, I think we started with 20 bags again, maybe.
So if you look at this estimate for Lone Star, the one that's $24,391, they put a tax on here where tax
Yeah.
exempt. So their bid would be $22,532, which would give us, 5,000 more to spend on the roads, which would cover those pallets and that stuff isn't that high, is it? So we could do that bid with Lone Star easy.
20 bags is $200.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can get my military discount on it, we have a tax on top of that, so we're looking, we could have $300 or $400 for that stuff, we could do a bunch on both sides, so. Well, it looks like to me that the $24,000 bid for Lone Stars is the one we can afford and let's choose it.
Well, I think that's, I don't know, unless we're still.
And we try to fix this road, this is the third year in a row we've tried to fix this road. We just didn't have the money the last 2 years, so we rolled money over year to year to year. And we finally, we've been pretty good stewards with the road money guys for a long time. To get up to having $27,000, we can finally do something with it.
Keep in mind, the other bid, it's 36, it should be 33,737. We wanna do that, that's $6,000 difference, you can pull that out of savings, cause we've got $9,000 in savings.
That'd give you an 8-inch thicker
base.
leg.
Yeah, it's a lot more, it would be, I agree, it'd be better, would that be some savings?
About $5,000. $4,000 or $5,000.
I'd like to get it fixed right. It's like, it is over there. You know, it's piddling around and patching it now. One guy told me, I think it was,
Is this for both north and south, or is it just one side?
This is Excel, that's Excel.
Oh, this is just X more.
This is from the corner,
that's street, we did.
I'm so sorry.
this is from the corner bow up to past,
Okay.
past Patty and Helen's.
Okay, to the emergency exit.
Well, not all the way to the emergency exit, but up to where it gets flat, where it flattens out.
Just past Ellen's and Patty's.
Yeah.
I would,
285 feet of it.
Yeah.
So,
From the tree.
I don't wanna be the one that tears up 4-inch concrete, or 4-inch, asphalt, or 2-inch, no, 2-inch. So here's my thing, so if we're doing that for the emergency exit, with my truck and all the trailers I pull and mess around with and my toys, like, I don't want my trailer or my truck to be the one that tears it up.
We talked about it before you got here, about talking to Scott and Christie about seeing if they would be willing to change trash companies, because they are the only ones, there's 15 people on our loop
So-
that use that road.
So what the problem is my trucks, my work truck and my, no,
They're not gonna-
no, that's not, hear me out. So with the posi tracks and those Chevy, so when I turn, like if it locks in, it grabs and tears as it goes, and I can't disengage that feature until it
You
gets
cannot
found.
ride on our roads anymore.
You're gonna have to go up and around.
It's like, I don't wanna be the one, that's what I'm saying, like, cause when it kicks in it, when it
It's gonna be
engages,
your fault, though.
that's what I'm saying.
If you go wrong, well, make you pay for it.
Both of these bids, though, are for 2 inches of asphalt. One bid is for 2-inch base, the other is for a 6-inch base. The base is is the price difference. It's gonna be 2 inches of asphalt.
Okay, either way.
It's just like a foundation on a house. You got a good base.
Okay, I don't wanna be,
That's why the south side.
That guy.
Just walk on though.
Just
Just park up here and just walk on and then here up here.
Carolyn can get you her car.
yeah. Every time I make that turn, it just automatically engages and you hear.
Go the other way.
Yeah.
We, I'm gonna fix right also.
It's a $6,000 difference.
There's no one you can talk with to get their opinion on it, say a road guy.
Just people to talk to, I don't know nobody else.
Oh, every day.
David Mullins was talking to me good, but she said we got to spend the money by September, 30th. 30th. So we got to go on schedule.
I say do it right. You know, we'll turn around the next year, we can say, well, you know, that rain flood through there and the road's coming hard.
But it's the worst road county.
Yeah.
And one of the, what Jeff told me was, putting that concrete we've been doing, which I was a part of that, is the worst thing you can do. But,
Time can help.
yeah, but I also like to mitigate some of the point, putting the gutter, because, the guy that recommended that made a lot of sense. Sure. Jeff did the same thing back at home, so. I mean, it's just, it's unbelievable, people, I call, even Angie's list sent me somebody's name, and it was just an, it's just weird.
Well, I'm for fixing it right, but I'm not as comfortable just have $5,000 in savings. We worked real hard to get that savings done.
And I don't want to drop, my concern was, I thought it was just, sorry. You understand what I'm saying though, right?
I am.
Like, the first time it's all said and done, I'll pull it in and it's ruined.
The problem's gonna be those big trucks for that.
Okay.
That's
I'm scared.
5,000 savings is a lot for a whole community. So. Said we worked a long time to get part of that savings.
We can look at it hard again if we have to.
This is true. This is true.
So we do need a motion on how you wanna do this, cause I have to allocate the money.
I'd make a motion for the $24,000 budget, or, bid, or $24,391 minus the $1,959.93. I can't do math that fast in my head without trying to figure.
Before we second that, is there, I wonder, as long as we have done business, you and me and everyone's dealt with these guys, I don't know if there's any money to squeeze out of these guys, just a little, just out of the goodness of their hearts. If we decide to go with the bigger one and take the tax off the bigger one, what's that gonna put us at? 36.54?
33, almost 34.
33.7.
33.7. I wonder if there's some grace there with these guys since we've been such good customers for so long. Would it be worth another vote? We have to have another meeting to have to approve and hear this with me.
Maybe
You think there's a wiggle room with him?
He's out, what's his name?
Jeff.
He's a wonderful guy. He's super nice to me and spent hours and hours with me down here. Gave me some great ideas for that cold mix when we patched up what to do to make it. You know, they're just good folks. But
See, I was Jeff with Debbie, that's the first time, and I talked to Jeff on the phone, this is the first time.
yeah, he's the one I did that.
I got retired. And,
This is the owner, isn't it?
Yeah, that's on there.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's an exact number, Carolyn?
33.737.50 is the higher bid.
Okay, what's the exact number we would have left in savings if we did the swap? and did
If
the
we
guys?
If we do 14,500 that we budgeted for, 12,595.19, that gives us 27,95.19 is what we have available without touching our savings account.
Do the savings, steal from our savings and see what that makes us.
What for that higher
A
one?
little higher, better base, correct, more correct bid.
We might offer the Washington for $80,000.
It's a nice truck.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's got the paper plates and the last year when he was driving it around.
Can you ask him, tell him we're leaning
It
toward
would leave
that?
us $3,400 in our savings
That's,
account.
like I said, 20, go ahead, Bob, sorry to, I second Bo's motion for $24,391.43 bid.
Which will be 22,530.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then spend
And then we'll have money for the cold
for the
patch.
cold pack.
We'll have money to do some other work around also, so, yeah, I'm not comfortable with having $2,000 in savings for our village.
Can you reach out to him?
Now tell me we wanna go with that bid.
Tell him you just wanna make sure the road will hold up. And just put it to him like that, and say we're on a budget, as he knows.
Just read it.
And just, yeah.
And if he can give us a break, that's good, because we won't have to have another meeting to approve that, because we've approved the higher amount. If he gives it to us lower, that's better.
We're all over 60, you know, once they see the 60 discount, but it's not over 60.
Well, I mean, it sure can't hurt to ask him.
No.
You know, he's not gonna go up.
Well, that was one of them.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, that's good in the back of my head here.
That's a compliment.
Oh, okay.
To both of them.
So Kelly, you want them to approve the 36 one then, right? So
Do what?
you want them to approve the $36,000 bid so we
No,
can,
the 22. And
Okay,
if he can
so I-
get it lower than the
If we can
22.
get it lower, or if we can get a little more base for our money for that, take the
Yeah.
lower bid and then
Okay.
with a.
That's okay.
What was the base on that lower bid, 4-inch base?
2.
2-inch.
2-inch
Two
base
inch.
and 2-inch asphalt.
Versus
You
80.
know, if he could meet us even, if he could give us another inch or two of base would be wonderful.
Yeah.
at the same price.
As a Christmas present.
There you go. And squeeze him all
Have
over the
you looked in his records to see how many years we have used them?
Yeah, I'm curious to find out how they are. I know Dale and us worked with them. I say wrong, you know.
It's
And they
10
always
plus
work with
years,
us.
at least 10.
Yeah, did you get, you contacted somebody else too that did not respond?
Quite a few.
Okay, you did, so you got at least three, correct?
There's some couple of guys that came, and I just
Okay.
knew that they, when they sounded so interested and all, and I texted them back, I emailed them back, and
Okay. I was just making sure you
Yeah.
were free.
I just wish we could have got a lot more, even though Lone Star's always, you know, been good to us, and they've done what they said they would do. But, I just wish we could have got more bids. 15,000, I thought, man, this is great. Basically, I told him he had the job, doing their rigging. No references.
You probably
no-
knew what he said, it was gonna cost, he would get back to all.
Well, then I looked at the bid and there's like no detail on really what he's wanting to do.
That's what I was saying.
That's a little scary.
He was a nice kid, but he just seemed, he didn't seem experienced. You know, he just, I think he was really wanting to do a job on the press. I just don't think he would send me references if he would have been.
You said he asked for half down.
Yeah.
To start with.
And no references.
Another thing was, he was wanting us, a place for us to put the debris when he tore it out.
Yeah. Okay.
And I said, I'll talk to him, but we didn't know what to do. Asphalt and concrete. I said, sure he's wrong.
Okay,
She don't want it.
we don't get a motion, we're just gonna go ahead and adjourn this.
We did it.
So I'll go and call him and see what we can do.
These people keep
Yes,
us when I'm
we-
leaving.
He can
Oh,
ask
good.
him to move to the base.
No.
That was, well,
And that rocks.
Yeah, she had the same idea, that's what she was gonna
You shouldn't
do.
have called, you should
Oh,
have just done it in the
no.
middle of the night, we would have had it.
She was, then you'd have identical porches,
No
or
changes.
dead,
Don't
whatever
mind
you
mine,
would
you
do.
can't see
Just
it.
hitting.
Not mine, but they did.
Oh, that's funny.
Because we got a resident.
But I would have him, I would have him look into his records, to see how far back we did use it. Yeah, if we say 10 plus years, it may be 30 years.
It's,